Top 20 Dispatcher Interview Questions and Answers. You may have come across some basic interview questions, but it's crucial to prepare to answer other interview questions specific to the dispatcher job. Here, we have compiled a list of top 20 dispatcher interview questions along with their answers to help you prepare adequately for your interview. 1. Why are you interested in this role? Here, the hiring manager is seeking to understand your motivation for applying for this role. The best strategy of responding to this question is highlighting your interest in working in a high-pressure environment to help others. Sample answer: I have developed this desire over time. Whenever somebody called me over the phone and spoke to me professionally and kindly, the more I felt the urge to become a dispatcher. The desire to help others inspired me also. As an empathetic person, being a dispatcher is very fulfilling. 2. What are the roles of a dispatcher? The response you provide for this question helps your interviewer to know whether you understand the roles of a dispatcher should you be given the job. In your response, list the main roles of a dispatcher as you connect to the job. Sample answer: a dispatcher responds to a company's non-emergency or emergency calls for both information and help. They also monitor routes, updates call logs as well as recording call information. A dispatcher can work in an emergency service industry or a shipping company. Other duties include addressing requests and problems by providing solutions or transmitting information, receive and dispatch orders for products or deliveries, prioritize calls according to urgency and importance, use radio, phone, or computer to send crews, vehicles, or other field units to appropriate locations. Provide field units with information about orders, traffic, obstacles, and requirements. Enter data in a computer system and maintain logs and records of calls, activities, and other information. 3. What are the qualities that a dispatcher needs to be successful? The interviewer will ask you this question while seeking to find out whether you are aware of the qualities you should be having as a dispatcher. Having in mind the needs of the employer, provide a few qualities that you think can make a good dispatcher. Sample answer: to be successful, a dispatcher needs to have solid interpersonal and communication skills. He or she must be proficient in Microsoft Office with proven experience in data entry. It is also important to have good knowledge of emergency processes and procedures. Additionally, a good dispatcher must have the ability to work under pressure, receive, record, and transfer calls. Aside from the basic dispatching skills, dispatchers should have the ability to handle multiple calls and tasks, communicate effectively, manage their time, and use good judgment. Additionally, the ability to listen, absorb information, and have empathy for callers is crucial for this job. 4. What major challenges did you face during your last role? How did you manage them? The employer asks this question to gauge your problem-solving skills. In your answer, describe one of the scenarios you consider as a challenge, explain how it happened and how you managed it. Sample answer: there are many challenges that one has to face during this role. One of the major challenges I faced was when clients made the call while in an accident. It becomes hard for them to provide the details such as their locations and the state of other victims. However, I have learned to work closely with police and medical personnel to ensure that these clients are given the right assistance that they may need during emergencies. Even if the situation is nerve-wracking, I ensure to follow all the protocols to help save lives. 5. Describe your daily routine as a dispatcher. The employer will ask this question to gauge how you prioritize your work. Demonstrate that you are focused on work and that you are organized. Sample answer: my day-to-day duties as a dispatcher include receiving and answering calls, handling non-emergency situations, recording calls, dispatching orders to emergency personnel, and prioritizing calls. I use dispatch systems to record calls, prioritize calls, dispatch the correct personnel, identify caller and responder locations. 6. Describe briefly about your experience. The interviewer asks this question to determine whether your experiences match the needs of the company. Having the job description in mind, summarize your past work history as you align them with the needs of your potential employer. Sample answer: I am a reliable and professional dispatcher who has been acting as a company's first contact for non-emergency and emergency calls. I have a minimum of 3 years in a similar role. During this time, I have gained a lot of expertise in monitoring routes, maintaining call logs, directing field units, and transferring messages. If given a chance, I will use the experience and skills I have gained to make a success in this role. I will also go the extra mile to ensure everything is done as per the requirements. 7. What kind of strategies and mindset is required for this role? Here, the interviewer is seeking to understand your attitude towards this role. The best strategy to respond to this question is by illustrating that you are excited to perform the role by indicating the strategies and mindsets you will hold as you perform the job. Sample answer. To excel in this role, a dispatcher must know how to multitask in stressful conditions without waiting to be supervised by anyone. He or she must always demonstrate strong communication, organizational, and interpersonal skills. It is important to understand that this is a challenging and fast-paced work environment, and a dispatcher should be ready for the challenges. 8. What is the biggest challenge that you foresee in this job? This question is asked to test how familiar you are with the trends taking place in this field. In your response, demonstrate that you are knowledgeable about the current changes, and should there be any challenge, you are prepared to manage it. Sample answer. Due to technology advancements, dispatchers will experience changes in emergency communications. For instance, as a result of many people owning cell phones, a dispatcher is likely to receive numerous calls regarding the same accident. It will therefore require a dispatcher to make a very quick decision in order to save lives. I have experience responding to such situations. I can easily assess the callers with detailed information and respond appropriately. 9. How do you stay motivated in your work? Interviewers ask this question to get a better understanding of your personality and who you are as a person. In your response, provide a concise and to-the-point answer about what motivates you. Sample answer. I get my motivation from acquiring new skills and learning new things. This enables me to grow in my profession as well as helping me take on responsibilities to impact the company. Additionally, I get motivated by helping those in need. I also read a lot about others in my profession who have been successful in the past. 10. Describe a time when you failed in this role and the lesson you learnt. The response you give for this question will help your interviewer to know whether you can admit your mistakes and learn from them. The best strategy of responding to this question is sharing a real situation that you failed in and the lessons you picked from it. Sample answer. Some years back when I got started, there was a time I forgot to seek clarification during a call from a client. Later on, the client concerned came back and complained that his matter was neglected. But I was able to follow up the matter and capture the missing details. I learned to always seek clarification when needed to ensure client issues are addressed exhaustively. 11. Why do you feel you are the most suited for this role? Here the hiring manager is assessing whether you have the right mix of personal traits, education, skills, and experience. In your response, convey what sets you apart from the crowd. Maximize your best personal traits, skills, education, and skills and match them with the needs of your potential employer. Sample answer. I am a dedicated and self-driven dispatcher who is passionate about helping people who are going through crises. I am certified in AED and CPR, and I have previously worked as an EMT. Additionally, I have also worked in a call center. During this time, I gained a lot of skills in using switchboard technology, addressing the needs of callers, handling multiple calls, recording calls, and transferring a call. I am empathetic, a good listener, an effective communicator, patient, and I can work under pressure. I believe that I would be an asset to this company if given a chance. 12. Share with us your greatest achievement. Your response to this question helps the hiring manager to understand your proven work performance, including your most valuable accomplishments. Provide insights as to who you are and how you approach your work. Sample answer. One day an individual called and informed me that they were involved in a traffic accident and that the wife was badly injured. However, the phone call disconnected before I could gather all the details such as their locations, condition of the victims, etc. Immediately, I informed the police, who were able to track their location. The hospital nearby was notified, and even though the situation was nerve-wracking, every victim on the scene was attended as quickly as possible. No life was lost in that accident. 13. How do you handle work pressure? This role involves dealing with multiple calls at once, which can be overwhelming and stressful. The interviewer will ask you this question to find out whether you can handle high-stress situations. In your response, demonstrate your stress management techniques, including the strategies you use to cope with pressure. Sample answer. I actually thrive while working under pressure. I am more focused and I achieve positive results when working under pressure. My ability to multitask helps to maintain balance while working in stressful situations. I understand that I need to keep a level head to achieve positive results. Additionally, I am able to balance work and family to ensure that I work effectively. 14. Are you familiar with dispatching equipment? This is a question commonly asked by the employer during an interview to know whether a candidate understands this field. The best way to respond to this question is to explain what you know. If you have not used some of the equipment, explain that you are a quick learner and you will catch up quickly. Sample answer. In my 3 working experiences as a dispatcher, I have used a ServiceTitan dispatch software to monitor data, receive calls, and operate a radio system. We update our system regularly, so I won't have problems learning and adapting to changes with equipment. 15. Dispatcher handles calls and have to deal with other multiple tasks at once. Explain how you prioritize calls and other important tasks in the workplace. The interviewer asks this question to assess your organizational skills. In your response, explain that you have the essential prioritization skills to help you work effectively. Sample answer. I've handled everything from time-sensitive emergency calls to being flooded with several calls at once. If I were to be handling one of these situations, I would immediately respond to the most pressing emergencies first and ensure that I dispatched authorities as quickly as possible. For instance, if I received a call regarding a traffic accident, I would first acquire the caller's location and then immediately dispatch the police and even ambulances if needed. 16. If somebody called 911 for non-emergencies, how would you handle him? This question helps the hiring manager to assess your communication abilities and your experience in handling non-emergency calls. In your response, demonstrate that you have excellent verbal communication as well as an understanding of emergencies versus non-emergency. Sample answer. After the caller has explained the situation, the first thing I can do is to ask him whether if the issue is an emergency. I would have a set of questions to gauge whether the situation is an emergency before I can advise him to use the non-emergency line. Additionally, I would also help the individual to understand the difference between non-emergency and emergency. 17. How can you handle a caller who is panicking? The employer asks this question to test your ability to remain calm, provide clear steps as well as handling emergencies as quickly as possible. The best way to answer the question is to state the steps that you would take to address an emergency. Sample answer. I believe that it is extremely important to be empathetic when handling a caller who is panicking. It is also equally crucial to know the words to use to avoid making the caller more anxious. If a panicking caller calls, I would calmly begin by asking him about the state of his emergency. After the caller has described what is happening, I would go ahead and dispatch the right personnel, including providing them with details to expect upon their arrival on the ground. I will also ensure that the caller is calm as he or she waits for the emergency personnel to arrive. 18. What are your future plans should you be hired for this position? Here, the employer is seeking to understand how you plan to develop yourself in your career. The best way to respond to this question is to state your professional goals and expectations. Sample answer. Getting hired for this position is the best thing that would happen to me. It will give me an opportunity to acquire more knowledge of the support, service, and solutions that the company provides. I will work hard to become a team leader since I believe that this company will offer me a strong path towards achieving my goals. 19. Kindly take me through your work ethic. This question is commonly asked to assess how you will fit into the company culture. In your answer, demonstrate your personality, enthusiasm, dedication, commitment to the role you are seeking. Sample answer. I am an energetic, positive, and proactive person who is dedicated to working with commitment and professionalism. I'm always willing to go the extra mile to finish the required tasks. 20. What is your greatest strength? Here the interviewer wants to find out whether your strengths match the responsibilities of the role at hand. In your answer, demonstrate your strengths as you align them with the needs of the company. Sample answer. First, I am a good communicator. I can collaborate with teams and individuals easily and effectively. Secondly, I have a very strong work ethic. If I commit to a deadline, I will do whatever it takes to live up to this responsibility and deliver on time.